All right, hey Envisioneers. I'm at Tampa General Hospital in Spring Hill waiting for my baby to be born. So I figured I'd work on this tutorial here on how we use Blender and Comic Life to make our Nexus comics for storyboards for our Intrigos and Extrigos and for our episodes. So what you do basically is you go into the episodes, and when you open them, because you're going to see there's a list that you'll have access to here. And you won't be able to modify them, but you will have access to these. And I'm doing the episode 5 Extrigo right now, so I'm going to open that. And then you copy it by dragging down. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So let's start again, grab and copy. There we go. All right. So I think that grabbed it. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's a bit kludgy. Yes, so there we go. And then copy that, and then open up Notepad and paste it. Now, I've already done that here, but you would go to a new window, for example, and you paste the script in there. Then when you come in here, let me close this down. Let me save. All right, so once you have the script in there, oh, that's not what I wanted. Seems I made a mistake. Don't save. Don't save. Don't save. Don't save. All right, that's the one that I did. So what you're going to do here is make sure you have a character's name, and you can have directions in parentheses, and then you need a colon to make sure your script has that. And try to make sure that everything the character says is on the same line. That does that there. This one does this here. So you have to do a little modification of the script. And if you want to have a caption, so for example, if you want to say caption meanwhile back in the classroom, you can add something like that in there. When you have that script, and some of this is relevant, we don't need that, we don't need this. So you have to do some modifications or it could get weird. But let's just try it. So you save your script, and I'll save this as Nexus Intrigo 5. I've already been doing that test, so I had that. So then what you do is you go into Comic Life, and you can see I already have it here, but let's say that, in fact, let me start a new one, save this, and I'll call it Nexus Comic Extrigo 5. But you go in and you go import script, and then find your script, which I put in, where did I put it? So I had save as, it is in downloads. Okay, so that's the one. All right, so grab that, and it opens up here, as you can see, and there's these little balloons over here, wherever there's characters. Then it has a caption where there's a caption. Now, I had this before, but I'll show you. You drag in the caption, and there it is right there. Now, it doesn't look as nice as the one that they had there, and that's because you need to be able to put a style in. Click on the style, so I'll get rid of that one. But that's all you have to do. So then here, you also have different styles here that you can do, like you can have a color around it, so I'll put brown in there. And literally, you go down and you start adding bits. So I have Dorian, I've got Sophia, and I've got Entharp. And there's Entharp. Now, if I don't like that, if I want to change it, then I'd have to, say, bring in something else in terms of styles, like that style there. But if I do that, then I'm going to have to copy and paste there, but I do want that for Entharp's voice. And there's little splines here that you can work with. All right, so you can drop in each character's dialogue right from there. Now here, it messed up because it got off on the different lines. So you may have to do some editing in here and then replace. All right, there we go. Okay, so we got that one there. Go down to the next panel. And now I wish there was a way to choose this. This is called alternate exclaim balloon. I don't think you can do that, but let me see. Alternate exclaim balloon. I don't think it's going to do anything to it. No. Oh, it did. Oh, look at that. So you can put those in there. All right, so layers ready. But here it was messed up. So let me get rid of this. Let me go back to here. There we go. Let's see if that works. Yep, here we go. All right, and for your words here, so we're not going to do that. And let's put this, will write in manually. Students play 5 tones, portal hums, and they become enveloped in virtual reality. Let's put that there, and then we'll bring it in here, and then Torian says here, show us a place where let's face. I know why it says let's face. Let's go look at the script. Something went wrong here. So in the script, let's face our fears, choose our dystopias. So this didn't work properly. It must be down in here somewhere. There it is, choose our fears. So in here in the script, yeah. It just pulled more stuff out. So things got messed up here. There it is. Okay, so let's get rid of this. Let's go to here. And then Entharp selecting. Again, we want to make this an alternate exclaim balloon. So let's put that in parentheses for here. And that would always go for Entharp. That would go before the colon. And then when we drop this down, it puts it in like that, which is really cool. All right. So we're beginning to map out using the script. And that goes pretty quickly. Now for the next page, you have to go to a new page. Maybe we'll pick a 7-panel page for that one. And then we'll bring in the water. Oh, that was messed up. So this again had to be there for it to work. Nope, didn't work. Water access. Because there's a colon in there, it gets messed up. There we go. There we go. All right. And then this is no words here. By hitting engage, Sophia plays the 5 tones. And then we have Sophia saying engage, and then Entharp, we always want to put the alternate exclaim balloon in there, so and I think the reason it's not showing anything there is because it says overlays. And it's confused. There we go. You'd have to put that like that now. There we go. And again, there's a problem, which is that it needs to be like that. There we go. So we can begin to build a comic that way. And you can lift this up, I think. Yeah. No, it's not. I thought there was a way to, yeah, there it is like this. Okay, so you can bring it down and bring it up as you like. In terms of bringing in pictures, let's go to our script, and we have Dorian saying, Entharp, can water be infinitely recycled? So let's go to, we have this shot here of the students surrounding Entharp, and when you say that, this should be called group shot over the shoulder, or OTS. Let's go back to our comic, and let's get that group shot, which would be somewhere under. Can't do a quick search. This does take time, but there's group shot. All right, so we drop that in, and we have Dorian saying. Let's move this actually here, so it doesn't block anything. Because if we did it up here, we could do that, but it doesn't block. Okay, so now we have that, and then after that, Dorian saying that, Sophia says, I want definite answers. Will water become no one? So let's go back to here, and we need a camera that will look at, we need a special camera that will look only at Sophia. She's over here. And so we have Sophia, we get into zoom into her, we go like this, or maybe we go have a little bit of, let's see if we, a little bit of desk in there. Let's go in and pose her. Let's see what happens if we can't rotate that, that's not her neck. And we rotate, ooh, it's not really good at all. How are her bones aligned, or are they messed up? That's her arm. That's her arm too. So not seeing how these bones are working. They're messed up. So something went wrong with her bones. So I don't think we're going to be able to rotate her head as I would have liked to, because her bones got misplaced somehow. And that's awkward, because we're supposed to be able to rotate her. So we won't use that for now. We'll fix her character later, but her bones are all out of whack. And probably just they didn't come along as they should have. So let's actually hide those bones. But let's say that we get in like this to her, And I can, by the way, if I select, let's do select all, select grouped, all children, no, that didn't work. Let's do select linked. No, didn't work. Select linked. Object anywhere still didn't work. Well, in that case, let's try to select sometimes it really gets annoying here. Shortcut. Cycle W. So Blender can drive you nuts sometimes when you're trying to get it to change something. And it won't do it. It drives you nuts. Cursor. So I obviously made a mistake here. 1 second. Yeah, so it's the W key, and sometimes it sticks, but you have to sit and cycle through it. So if I use the box select, sometimes it'll just drive you nuts. Because I really should be able to looks like it's not letting me grab her arms. Shift. Her arms are like somewhere else. Why is that? Sometimes you need to go into mesh to make sure you can grab the mesh, but her arms aren't coming through. It's so weird. And it may be that they're on a different, they got all moved around. Like here's her eye. I don't know. Weird. Alright, so sometimes that happens. There's the eye left and arm right, and then if we rotate her in Z, ooh, she's really messed up, and part of that is because we're on a different frame. Right. I don't want to totally confuse me or you in this. What I really wanted to do is just, until I figure all this out, I just want to get to camera moves. So if I move my camera to look at her, like so, then I hit Control-Alt-0, and I have a camera. That camera, I'm going to call Sophia, and I should call it Camera Sophia. Camera Sophia, Camera Sophia 2. So if I wanted to get to that camera, the question would be, how would you get there? As opposed to, say, then using another camera like this one here, if I hit Control-0, I switch to that camera. And if you look at all the cameras we have up in here, there's camera Dorian close-up, I hit Control-0. Takes me to, if I hit here, Control-0. Takes to this one. If I hit this camera here and hit Control-0, I'm looking at that. So now I'm going to hit Render, Image, and there we go. And I'm going to have now save it. This will be called Sophia Close Up. If I go back to Comic Life, find Sophia here. Should have updated. There it is. And so there she is. And I can move her like that. Problem being that you can't stretch. So it probably is good to have some color backgrounds to put behind this, or you do your shot such that your frame and your shot somewhat align. So really, we would have done something like this, and now redo it. Hey.
I'm having a question about the plumbing in the shower.
Okay.
She wants to make the shower for the whole work.
I will go look at that in 1 second. Okay, be right there. So we go into here, and we will should update this. Actually, didn't do it. Let me go back and see what happened when I this saving as, and then save it as that image. It should have changed it. So let's see. Nope, it didn't. Yes, it did. Okay. So if I double click on this and move it up, there we go. Yes, you play around with it like that, and then we have proposing demonstration recycling. So now we have NTHARP. So we come into NTHARP, and we should have an NTHARP camera, and that NTHARP camera is going to be something like this, where we're looking at NTHARP, and then we'd have to hit Control-Alt-0 to create a new camera there. This camera would be NTHARP, and render that. Let's save it. I'll just save it as a different thing to save as. We call this NTHARP. So, and now into here, and we find NTHARP close up. Drop that right there. Move this. That's messy. So flip it over. See, go. And it takes some jimming around to get it right. But yeah, we can mess with that later on. Try to get this to work a little bit better. That's the basic idea, that you can start building out your scene just like that. Oops. So what just happened here? Okay. So then the next part is Sarah, load layers, and we want to go in and find Sarah. So we need a camera with Sarah, and Sarah is over here. And we don't have a camera. Actually, it should be, she should be, her back should be at it. And I wish that I'd organized things better, because I should be able to move all of Sarah. There she is. That's the whole Sarah thing, but yeah. So if I move Sarah that way, I need a camera for Sarah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a camera, And then I'm going to be on that camera, which is that one. I'm going to call this camera Sarah. And being on that camera, camera Sarah, if I now go Control Alt 0, then the camera Sarah is looking the way I want it to, like that. So let me render that. Okay. And let's save that and call it Sarah back. And if you're more organized than me, then you'll create stocks that you can go back to over and over. So Sarah back would be down here somewhere. So that is something like that. And we have Sarah saying that. Bring this over. And then layers ready. So that's the basic way you do it. But what would be really neat, I think, would be if you could just switch camera angles all the time, because we do know that whenever we want to use a camera, so for example, if I have camera Dorian and I go Control 0, I get to that camera. And if I do camera 2 shot, this camera here, and hit Control 0 by bringing my cursor back over, then it gives me that one. And actually that was supposed to be Dorian. Let's see what happened here. Somehow they got reversed, didn't they? Yeah, that's the 2 shot. So this is camera 2 shots. Dorian Sarah. I spelled that wrong. And this one is camera Dorian. All right, so whatever you switch to, you can bring your cursor over if you select it, and let's see, not really got messed up, did it? Camera Sarah, camera Dorian, that one works. Camera 2 shots, get to that one. So there's various cameras, and I thought they all should be called camera. And really what I should be doing is creating a new collection and calling this cameras. And if I do that, and I find my darn cameras like this, let me drag this all the way down. Let me close these up because they're in the way. There should be now a collection called cameras somewhere. Where did that go? It's down here. So let me bring that way up to the top. Drop that in, and then let me move my cameras. That one, that one, that one. Bring those up into the camera folder. And are there any other cameras here? No. Alright, so those are my cameras so far. So you just make all these cameras and you can, oh, there's another camera. Who are you? You are, hit the period key, you're Entharp, and that should say camera Entharp. Right, so, hello, camera Entharp. Let's drag you into cameras as well. Alright, and then if I wanted to see that, I do Control 0. Oh, and that's the one that was actually Sarah. Okay. I see. Camera Sarah. I'm just going to make it camera Sarah 1. This one here was supposed to be camera Entharp. And if I go to it, it's that. But I really want it to be zoomed in on Entharp. So let me come here, having selected that, hit Control Alt 0, and then that moves it in to what I want it to be in. Alright, so now I've got a camera 2 shot I can go to, hitting Control 0. I've got a camera for Dorian I can go to. I've got a camera for Entharp. And so you can set all these different cameras. That's Sarah back. And you really should set them up the way that you want to, and then have them accessible. If I want another camera on Sarah from the front, then I would go here. Let's do a close-up of the front of her. I would add another camera, call it camera Sarah close-up, and then I would say Control-Alt-Delete. There we go. And that one is now the camera Sarah close-up that I want. And if I render it, okay, so save as, and call this Sarah close-up.png. And so when I get back to Comic Life, so actually it isn't Sarah who says anything there, but we can show her face. She's the one who says engage. Oh no, Sophia says engage. Sarah says, yeah, but how far are we? So let's get that in there and then we can drag her thing in. So we have historic wetlands. And then we have Sarah going, yeah, but how far are we? Okay, so let's bring Sarah's close-up into there. And we can go in and fill the other ones later. So yeah, this is the way that you start building out your scenes, which is all really neat. I just think that there's got to be a better way to switch between cameras. And ChatGPT suggests that there is using Python. So if I go back here, ChatGPT wrote me a code. Direct a camera switcher like we used to use in the television studios. We're making our own add-on. We'll put it under a tab called cameras or anything you like. Okay, so Blender's text editor. So that would be under texture paint rendering. Where is it? Scripting. So here in scripting, make a new script. Let me paste that in. And we'll call this camera switcher. And I put my name to know that it's me, because if I make mistakes, then it's there. And let's see what it says next to do. So it looks like it's all in there. Open the text editor, click new, paste the script, click run script. Alright, run script, run script. Where's the run script? It's right here. Alright, run script. Alright, I ran it. What's that going to do? So go back to layout, and cameras shows up. And it picked all my cameras. Wow. Holy moly. That's amazing. That's really good. Sarah's back didn't work. But I'll bet if I take this, if this is Sarah's back, yeah, that's the one that's camera Sarah close-up actually. I wonder what the script is going to do with this when I change the name. Oh, it dropped it right in there. So it's camera Sarah close-up. And this one is Sarah's back. But if we look at what it sees, Control 0, it's looking completely the wrong way. So something got messed up. Rotating Z, swing it around. See what it sees now. There we go. And by the way, there's a way to go up here and go to view and then say navigation and then hit walk navigation, and then you can use the WASD keys like in a video game and then hit escape. But that didn't commit it, so let's do it again. You can hit the shift tilde key to be able to activate it, and then shift tilde and then left click and it commits. Right. So now I have camera 1, which should be called, it picked it up and I don't even know where it is. Let me see. Camera 1. Who are you, camera 1? Where is camera 1? Why is camera 1 not showing up? Because that's camera 1, there's camera 2, camera Dorian, Entharp, Sophie close up, and this one shouldn't be called Sarah close up anymore. It should be called Sarah back. Okay. And this is the close up. And it seems like it updates, so this Python script was pretty powerful. Thank you, ChatGPT. So there's the close up, there's her back, there's Entharp, there's Dorian, Sarah, and then this camera 1, camera 0. I'll try to find camera 0. There's no camera 0. How fascinating. Camera .001 doesn't exist. Isn't that funny? So I don't know. This is sort of like the default camera of Blender, I guess. I don't know where it found it. It's pretty cool that it has it. I don't know how to change the name because it's not there. Huh. Anyway, we definitely now have a cool plugin called Cameras. And if I want to change the name, I would go back into my scripting. Somewhere in here it says Cameras. It's the script, camera, view 3D, switch, self-camera name. Somewhere in here it's going to say that it should be called Cameras, because I called it Camera Switcher. So where does it tell us Cameras? Let me do Control F and see if I can find it. Cameras. Next. There it is. That's the category. So if I call this Camera Switcher, is that going to change it? Switcher, let's try that. Right. Run the script. Close this down. Yeah, Camera Switcher. Look at that. So that's pretty cool. We just made our own little Python script. Boom, 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 boom. All right, so this is really going to change and accelerate how we can now bring this into comic life. Because if I look here where we're looking at Entharp here, and somebody's saying, show us a place, Dorian is saying it, and let's go into our camera switcher, and let's go to camera Dorian, and you can tweak it, because you can go like this, and then you can hit shift tilde and temporarily change it like that. If you don't want to create another camera for it, this can be Dorian's camera that we can go and move a lot. So render this. Save as Dorian close up. And then come in and bring in close up. Close up. So just drop that in there. Now this is Entharp, so I can move this up to here. It's a cool technique to use. And then have Dorian saying, show us a place where, have that bleed over there. All right. And then we have the end file. And I think I want to come back to here and go to my NTHARP camera, and this time I want to come in so they can sort of see it. And I will Control Alt delete that, so now camera NTHARP is looking there. Because I see camera NTHARP, I just shifted and made it move. That. So there you go. That. And render it. Okay, and then save it. And say sharp and students or NTHARP and Sophia and Raj. Save images. And then here. And then find it on your NTHARP. NTHARP Sophia and Raj. And then here, over, but bring it down here, turn this over. So NTHARP speaking. There. And this guy over here is over there. Yeah, so we're really beginning to develop a comic this way. And of course it takes time to do, but this is, I think, a much better way. Once we've developed all of the characters in Blender, then we can set cameras using our new camera plugin and then jump between them and do a whole scene. So that's what I wanted to show, and we'll continue to work on it. The essential points were that you can import a script, and the script can be used if you have the right tags to drop stuff in. Right, so after Sarah says, yeah, but how far are we? And then, who said this? Are we in the middle? I guess that's also her there. So if you want, you can go Sarah, boom, are we in the middle of the waterwork? And then we can, this one here, this balloon is called a whisper, and this one is called a buzz. So let's try buzz. Sarah, buzz. Let's see if that works. I'm just going to get rid of the colon here. And let's see. Didn't work. So let's try it again. If we do buzz balloon. Is that how you spell balloon? So it's called a buzz yellow. Let's try that. Nope, didn't help. So what did we do wrong? Sarah, buzz balloon. What did we do when we did alternate exclaim balloon? Didn't like that. Maybe it needed to be space. Oh yeah, it did it. You just don't see the... No, it didn't do it. Sorry. So something's going on there. What if we have... What is this one here called? Space balloon. Try it. Depends on how it's written. Something may not be coded in here, for all we know. So... Didn't do it. Alright, well... I'll keep it as it is. The water word. Some of them work, some of them don't. I think I mean, it could be that. Is that actually that'll work? Nope. This one is called, let's see. We did get something going here. What is this here? This is rough. And this is font. And we'll use whisper. Let's try to whisper. Ah, that did work. So, okay, so some of them work and some of them don't. Just have to experiment to see. So I'm in the middle of watermark. All right, so that's the script, working with scripts and working with Blender in Comic Life. And when you're all done, then you print it out, and you can print it out by exporting it to PDF or to images. I'm going to do images for a second because I want to use some of those images. So we'll call it Nexus Intruder 5, and it should create a folder in there. And so if I now go to Facebook, and I'll go to the envisioning sustainability class, and then I'm going to post in there. I can grab those images from the folder, which is Xtrigo 5, and there's the images. And it was really one page 1 and 2. And we have, there we go, and they're in the wrong order. So edit, move that up there, say done, and then say working out a methodology for using Blender with Comic Life Nexus series. And then we do it like that. And we share our progress. Yeah, it begins to look like a legit comic. I'm pretty proud of it for the beginning. It's just starting tonight. So let's keep it going. Let's see where we go. All right, thanks for watching.